So, SSSniperWolf, copy striking another channel. First of all, let's just be honest. This is just laughable, okay? Her entire online career is basically stealing other people's content, okay? That's what she does. Now, we'll call it reacting videos, but like she doesn't understand the definition of transformative content, right? So when I heard the story about how she struck another channel for basically the same thing that she's been doing since she's been on the platform, it's laughable, right? Now the other channel is called Big Onion, and he's worried that this is what he does for a living, and he's worried about his livelihood. And there's kind of an unspoken rule about having one creator copy strike somebody else, because YouTube, as much as I love being a YouTuber, it's not always exactly the most secure form of income, right? They could yellow dot your video, they could strike it, they can whatever for any sort of reasons. They can go back and what Charlemagne used to sit there and call retroactively getting people speeding tickets for videos that's been like maybe 2 years old to like maybe 14 years old. But just going back to her channel, right? Just going back to her. So yeah, she copy strike somebody else. They made a video talking about it, and it sucks. But here's my thing though. While Sniper Wolf is a hypocrite in so many ways, and she's so out of pocket for doing this, at the end of the day, the challenge for this 3-hour video was to not laugh, right? So you're not really transforming the video in any sort of way. So technically speaking, she's not in the wrong for copy striking his channel. Like, yeah, at the end of the day, it just comes down to just being butthurt. And I always do believe that if you have a problem with another creator, they took some content from you or whatever, even if they're using it in a transformative way, let's talk about it. Just sit there, send an email, send, I don't know, a DM or something like that and talk about it, because YouTube is already hard enough for creators. And the last thing that we need to be doing is going after each other. So I'm not, obviously I'm not a fan of just copy striking somebody else. Like, it's kind of a unwritten rule for YouTubers to not really sit there and do things like that. And lately, this is exactly what these big YouTubers have been doing, is just going around copy striking somebody else because their feelings is hurt and they don't like what somebody has to say, whatever. But I don't know. I just look at it and I'm like, well, technically she's not wrong, but she's also a hypocrite too. So like it's kind of like I can see both sides of it. Now at the end of the day, I always do try to look at YouTube in certain regards when people sit there and say, well, this is going to impact my livelihood. This is the only way I'm able to sit there and make money. And I'm like, well, technically speaking, there are other jobs out there, right? Like, don't get it twisted. One day I want to sit there and do this full time, but I don't know. Part of me always sit there and looks at it when people sit there and say, well, this is my only livelihood. It's like, well, it's not true. You can do other things. You're choosing to do this, and that's great. And yes, it is a dream job when you get sat there and actually do it. But you do have to also understand the risk of doing this. YouTube could sit there and just decide to, like I said, go back 4 months or 4 years and strike a channel that once was fine with community guidelines and is now not fine with it. So as much sympathy as I do have for him for just being a content creator just like him, part of me is just like, when I heard him say that, it just made me think of like the really sad music and the violin and being like, let's not sit there and try to like if you don't do this tomorrow, you're just going to be destitute. But I don't know. That's just my whole thoughts on the whole Sniper Wolf situation. At the end of the day, she's still just a god awful person. For all the different things that she did, but I will sit there and give her a certain level of grace, because if you're gonna do a 3-hour stream and you're gonna sit there and be like, okay, well, I'm not gonna react to this, I'm not gonna sit there and laugh, then technically you are violating the terms of service, no matter how much of a terrible god awful person she is.